Hello everybody on the Sketch Club, this is CFSketches here, and welcome to the Shading for Beginners class. Now today we will be discussing many techniques and types of shading, including realistic and cartoon. So let's begin. So first we'll be going over cartoon in this section. I will do that first. And also, I just want to say something real quick. So I did this class about 2 years ago, and I decided to do it again because over those past 2 years I've learned a lot of stuff. So I hope this will be a lot better, and I hope it will help you in all of the art that you decide to do. So first we'll get into cartoon. So first, you're going to want to use layers when using cartoon shading. Now, you could also just use one layer, and also this is different for people when using line art or no line art. And so, for this part, I will actually give a little demonstration. Like so, I will do just a little gray ball, like this, or a gray circle. And then we are going to use black for one part. And now, when I first started Sketch Club, I had no idea what this was, so I know that probably somebody will not know this, so I'm just going to say this right now. You're going to want to use on. Now, on is pretty much one of the best tools out there. It's on the little tab right under vector. There's like erase, screen, multi, overlay. You're gonna want to use on, and make sure it's on. Make sure there's nothing else in the layer except that. And then you're gonna want to go in settings, turn the opacity as much as you want to. I'm gonna do 25. Yeah. And then we are going to just make like a little curve. Now, if you some people use it like over, and it would look kind of like this, and then you'd have to erase the stuff that's not on it. You're going to want to use on. That's going to really help you out. Now, you could leave it like this, or you could, depending on what it's possibly made of, maybe it's made of plastic, maybe it's made of metal. I'm going to go for kind of like a plastic kind of approach. So we're going to use white. You could use the same level of opacity. And you could do either two things. You can make just like a little circle. So it has a bit of like a light, kind of like a reflection. Or you could just do it like this, or this, or this, or any way that you choose. So there we have a demonstration in cartoon shading. Now I'm going to do one in line art. So I'm going to delete this, and we're going to make another circle again, and we're going to make it gray again. There we go. But when you're using line art, you're going to want to actually do it on a different one. Now, you can actually copy and paste the line art onto two different ones like I just did, and on the bottom one you put in the color, because it depends on what color the line is, but since everybody goes for black, first we're gonna do a black shadow like that, and then this is why you'd want to put it on a different layer, because if I were to so I'm just gonna merge it for 1 second, pretending that's on one layer. If I were to do the white section on one that's only one layer, it would go over the line. I don't know if you can see it right here, but look at this. This one side is black, one side is a bit of a lighter gray. And if we make it 2 layers now, we do the white, it's all just complete black. So that is completely perfect for this one of the best techniques for line art cartoon shading. But we're not done here yet. Some people like me, we aren't really satisfied with just shading like this. We want an actual shadow, like on the ground, like it's not floating or anything. So we're going to copy and paste the drawing, like in this case the little circle, and we're gonna put the bottom one, like the layer furthermost down, and we're gonna make it completely black. Like I'm gonna just make that invisible. We're gonna make it completely black, and then make this come back. And then what we can do is that we can stretch it all the way like this. I'm gonna move it a bit. And you can just stretch it like that. And it doesn't have to be completely black. You can change the opacity. You can make it like this, or you can make it like this. Either way is fine. So, now that we have that on cartoon shading, now we're going to move on to, oh wait, I just realized I had a whole slide for the cartoon shadow. Like, so that, again, copy and paste and move the drawings and make them black for the shadow effect, and the opacity is of course optional. Now we're going to go on to cartoon shading again. I'm going to do this one more time. So for this one, just like I showed you before, we're going to copy and paste the line art, and then we're gonna. You can actually there's two ways of doing this. Now let me get an image of the character because I forgot the colors very quickly. That's a good one. There you go. That's just a fun little doodle I did. So let's get the colors, and we can actually use vector or pen. Like vector is better in my opinion, and we can just fill it in on the other layer. Yeah, we can just fill in on the other layer on all this. Now, and you're gonna want to do this on 2 layers because, yeah, I'll just make this very quick. So if we were to take away the piece of line art that's over it, then of course some of the line is gone, as you can see, because we used the vector over it. Now that's why you're going to want to use 2 layers, because look at this. Doesn't that look a whole lot better? Yeah, I think it does. Alright. Next, we will go on to realistic shading. And now, the thing is, for realistic shading, depending on what it is, you're going to want to use many layers. And what I mean by this is by having like, this is my OC Fusion, and for separate things, you put on a bunch of layers. Like, let me give a little demonstration. Hang on, let me make a white background. So, there we go. And now let's do it very quickly. Let's make like a, how about this? We'll make a ball on a plate. So we'll make like a darker gray. And there we go. And of course we're going to want to use for what I think is realistic shading. You're going to want to use the simple brush tool. It's you don't have to download it on the community. All that you just have to it's already on your iPad. It's already on the app. So you don't really need to do anything. Of course you want to do the size, the opacity, how dark you want it. Now because everything is gray, I'm going to use black. And if it were color, you would do like a darker shade of that color, not black. Alright. So now we're going to use black on this. Oh, forgot to turn on. And you want to make it, use some white. Some more black. And there we go. Now, I don't know if any of you noticed this, but we did something that I guess you could call a mistake. Now, when I shaded the ball, some of the shading from the ball went onto the plate. Why? Because it's only one layer. Now if we were to do this again one more time with the ball on a separate layer and the plate on another, you get something different. So let's start shading again. First on the ball. Looks black. Now look at that. See, because I'm using on and it's only one layer, it's only on the ball, not on the plate. It's only on the object you want it to be on. So now let's do the plate. And we can have just the plate as one color, no brush from the ball on it. We can make it how we want it to be. Now let's make a shadow of the ball. Make it a bit darker. Yeah, looks good. And then we use the white. Now doesn't that look a whole lot better? Yep, and that's why you want to use separate layers. Like right here. Oh wait, hang on. Like I did this with my OC. Now this one was shaded with 7 layers for separate things, and this one was shaded with 1 layer. You can pretty much see a difference besides how I drew them, but like you can see because this arm, I'm going to point this out, the arm right there is from a different layer. This arm is not. And it doesn't exactly, it just looks like a single stroke of a brush. See? So that's why you're going to want to use separate layers. That's really going to make it look awesome. And now, the basic principle of shading, which I meant to cover earlier, is, of course, with light. So, I'm going to give a little demonstration here. So, basically you want to shade on how light is hitting something. Now, like hitting an object, or a person, or anything at all, even in the background. Like, so I drew a little demonstration here. We have, I drew arrows here. Like, ignore this third arrow, I don't know what that's doing there. So we have light coming from this direction, and this direction. So of course, we'd put the white parts, or what color the light is, which I'm going to do just normal white, on that part, the part that's hitting. And because it's on both sides, it's right there. And of course, when something is lighter, something else becomes darker. And because we have 2 right here, it's just going to be right in the middle, like that. And I also have another thing like that. I already did that. Okay, so here's an example I did of when light is a different color. So, yeah, sorry for the tapping. So, this light right here is yellow instead of the normal white that we've been using. And when light is emitting, like let me do a little example right here. This is not on objects, it's just pure light. So let's do some yellow again. Okay, so here we go. Alright, so let's do some yellow. Let's make the opacity a bit yes, listen to the black one. It keeps what you draw to the current layer contents and does not go outside. Great for shading. Yep. Alright, so now let's use some normal light. Oh yeah, and I meant to say this earlier. I don't exactly know how time passes between my voice or the drawing, or if it's in the same time. So, if there's a bit of delay, I'm sorry. So, alright, so now we have some normal light. So normal yellow light. And of course, it's gonna be brighter in the middle, so we'd get a more light version and then be white in the middle. And this is a mistake that people do. The brightness, it just immediately goes from light to just dark super suddenly. So we didn't exactly know how bright it is. We're gonna take a darker shade of that yellow. And look at that. And we're gonna keep on doing it until it's completely dark. There we go. See? And so that's how you do just normal light. And now here we go with the object. So this light is yellow, and the yellow light hits the object. Now, because there's no light at all, and I should actually fix this, the object would be a bit of yellow. Because the only light is yellow, so everything would have a yellow touch to it. There we go. And here we have, and it also changes with darker light and with smaller amounts of light and a larger amount of light. Like this one, you can totally see the object. You can almost see the entire thing. Yet here, you can see about half because the light is so dim. So here we are. I forgot the name of this one. So let's try. Let's give one more demonstration for the people that just came. A bit of cartoon shading, and we're gonna do one without line art and one with another. And because we have two layers right here, we can actually copy the line art. This is what you want to do. You want to copy the line art, put it on two layers. And, oh yeah, I gotta erase that. Okay, it's erased. And put the color on the second layer. And then you want to do your cartoon shading. I know I'm tapping, I'm sorry. I'm not using a stylus, I'm using my finger. I should get one. Actually I do, but I don't use it. So, let's say the light is going from above it. I'm going to do like a crescent kind of form because circles are circular. There we go. And then you do the white as the lighter one. You could also, let's say the light is yellow. You give it a shade of yellow, like so. A bit darker. And then there we go. But that's if the light is say yellow. Since it's like just normal light, it's gonna be white like this. And if you want to actually do this, oh, hang on. Okay, I got. Okay, you can actually blur that, and you get like a. Look at that. You get like a. You can get realism just by doing cartoon shading. You can also do this with a bunch of artworks. And now, without line art, you can do it all on one layer. Because you don't need to worry about the white going over the black line now. Here we go. Now we have a lot of people here. Thank you for coming. Alright. Oh yeah, there was one thing I wanted to there's one last thing I wanted to cover. Oh, there you go. Okay. So, I was gonna cover this in the one of the line art ones, the one with my character. And I think I already did. But I'm just going to do it again anyway. When there are two different colored lights, like let's say this people right here, and this right here, like this is just a light, and this is another light, but it's not like glowing or anything. Okay, so of course we're gonna want to oh, I already copied and pasted it. Except and put it like that. There we go. The colors are on the same layer, so I'll just get rid of that real quick. Boom. Boom. Alright. And then we'll put the color inside the line art. Alright. So first we're going to do cartoon. And then we're going to do realistic shading. If you have two different colors, like I'm just going to think of a scenario, maybe lights of a dance floor. I'm just going to say that. For cartoon shading, you're going to want to put it in, since this is a ball, you're going to want to do it in a crescent shape, completely facing the center. There, I'm going to a little dot, that's the hang on. Okay, that's the center of the light, and the center of this light is right there. You're going to want every single piece of shading, every single color, to face the center of the light. So about like this. No. Like this, because it's facing right towards it. For this one, for the purple, since it's bigger, we're just going to make it brighter. Like that. And it's facing towards it, towards the center, dead on. There we go, and of course, because there would be a little bit of in between, it's going to be like black, because this object is gray. I honestly don't like that. Alright, now let's try doing it in, now let's do it in, basically it's the same way in realistic shading, except you have more strokes, unless if you turn your opacity up. Like that, and then that, and a little dark center. Like that. There we go. So that's it actually, the shading for beginners class. Now, because I do not want to leave on such a short notice, I'm going to take all questions in the comments, in the chat. If you have any questions on techniques or want to see like a demonstration of something, go ahead. Because I do not want to leave, and I will be here. I will stay. Let's get rid of these layers. How do I do fire? Okay. I'm going to do cartoon and realistic first. Alright, so Night Fury draws. So because fire is wavy, you can either do it in like a triangular shape, like let's make a little candle right here. So let's do it like this. There we go. And for realistic, let's make a candle. I hope it smells nice too. There we go. Alright, now let's make the fire in a, like the colors you're going to want to use. If you look at fire, it's not a complete shade of yellow. It's a light yellow. So, we're going to make the shape again. Like that. You can also, there's also different kinds of fire. How you do smells. I guess you could do like very quickly. I guess you could do like waves like this emitting from something, or you could do like just like something like that, like a cloud. All right, so back to this realistically. Like so, again, you're gonna want to copy the line art. So let's put on our layer. Get rid of the realistic candle. Alright. Now let's put the I didn't do that. Okay. I didn't close the line art. Here we go. Alright, so now we have the color. Now, so normal fire like this, small fires, which I will get to big fires in a second. So ones like these, now what kind of colors do candles have? They have a mix of yellow, orange, and red. So, for a cartoon, you can either have the color inside different lines, like this. Like orange would go in there and then red would go in there. But I'm going to do it without it. Okay, so like this. And like this. So that's cartoon. You could even add some detail on the candle, like some melting wax. Like that. And now for realistic, we're going to use the same colors. And put the colors in, like that. And then you could either keep it like that, like this isn't like it's kind of cartoon, but like for a very, very realistic approach, you're going to want to smudge it. So you get the smudge tool. Make it blur a bit. Let me get a black background. Okay, that does not look good. You can also mold it too because it's already like this. Oh, that actually looks cool. Okay, and of course, and like so, back to the cartoon, because shading really relies on vector, we're going to use, because there's some texture, like the melted wax, we would put it down like that, because, again, like what I said, when light hits something, the dark parts will face away from it. So like for this, candle wax is facing away from it. There we go. And then we're going to use we'll use the yellow for the light. I did the candle wax on the same layer. Alright, so it could be like wavy like this, go around it, like that, and then some black on the very bottom, like that. And now for realistic. Of course, because it's a candle, it's gonna have a glow to it. So let's get some dark shade of that yellow. Go around it. Make it a bit more light. Like that. And then on the wax, on the stand, we're going to use some black. Darker shade of the candle. Oh, I have on, over on. Yeah. There we go. Keep on making it darker. There we go. Just like that. For the cartoon one, you could just do a simple little thing of vector, like this, surrounding it. Like that. You could also do like a bunch of bars too. Yeah, it looks good. You do multiple ones like that. Does anybody have any other questions about realistic shading, cartoon shading, anything about that? Because I still don't want to leave. Sorry if my tapping is annoying. Tap, 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 tap. How does one shade triangles? Okay. So let's make a triangle right now. Oh, hang on, we'll do that after. Does the question about shade or do water count? Yeah, how to shade? Yeah, that counts. And also, like, I personally, I could try water. Like, so as for triangles right now, actually let's try a 3D one, a 3D looking one. Let's try cartoon first. Make it like a pyramid. Okay. Now let's say that the light is hitting from this direction. Actually, let me copy the line art first. There we go. Now, oh, I gotta close this. There we go. Okay. Now, let's say the light is going from this direction. Where we're gonna be. Because it's a geometric shape and it has different sides, including one that's facing away from the light, we're going to use, how about like, it kind of reminds me of the Pyramid of Giza, so I'm just going to use like a sandstone kind of look. There we go. Oh wait, wrong way. There we go. Alright. So light is coming from this direction. Now, the light is actually hitting a side you can't see. Like, let me get, like so, if you've ever been in math class, you would probably have done this before, where you have to draw like a dotted lines of how it looks. So, the line is actually hitting this side. The light is hitting that side. This one is completely not. This one has a bit of it. So, let's go back to this. Because this side, because the side to the left is is not having any light, that's going to be the darkest. Wait, let's do cartoon first. Also, Black Button, you don't have to be recording for this if you don't want to. Alright, so let's make it dark. Yeah, I'm trying to stay in the line. So that light's not completely missing it, so we don't need that. But now, because this has a bit of it, we're going to make like a curve up, and then because this side is darker, just completely cover it, and then some white. Actually, no, a lighter color of it. There we go, like that. It's perfect. Now let's do a very fast realistic shading one. And of course, this is going to be on a few layers. This will be 2 layers. There we go. So let's say the light is coming from the same direction, which is this way. Because the light is hitting the same spot, and this side, and the right side only has a bit of the light, just like last time. Give some of a shade. And then give this side that's not facing it some more shade. You could also a bit of around there, like that. Somewhere on this side, like that. So that's, so those are triangles or pyramids, or I don't know if exactly that's what you were talking about, but like the triangular sides. Yeah. If light were hitting a flat side but no corners, 2 light sources, would the corners and the area around the corners be dark? Okay. Yeah, flat side but no not corners. 2 light sources with the corners and the area around the corners be dark. Okay, I need to think about that. The flat side but not corners. Okay, I see what you're talking about. Okay. So what are you saying? If anyone is confused, and I see a few have left, that's fine. If the light is only hitting one side, but no, wait, no. Okay, wait. If okay, I see where he's going with now. Okay, so let's say the pyramid. Yes. Well, let's say the pyramid is. Oh God. I feel like an idiot. Yeah, like I actually just I'm taking geometry today. You know, like I'm taking geometry this year, and I haven't learned a thing. I don't know exactly how to draw that. Yeah, geometry. Sorry, do you have any other questions? Does anybody else have any other questions? I'll try and get back to you on that. Can you draw cats? I'm not good at cats, but like that doesn't really have to do with shading. Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, I've done something like that before. Okay, alright, so I actually made a little tutorial on that before, on fur shading. Now, so I'm gonna do realistic first. So, let's get a little color, maybe like a little shade of brown. Classic. Okay. So let's say that this is the primary color. So what we're going to do for a cartoon, like this is just a little patch of fur. So first we're going to do like a little thing of the primary color. Then what you're going to want to do is completely mess with this whole spectrum on that section. You do like light, dark, and just do it, like in my opinion, like just with lines. Tons and tons of lines. Okay, I hope you like the stream. Sorry, like this is probably gonna have the most tapping, I'm sorry. Alright, so let's make a few more colors. Yeah, but like one more. How about just the normal color that we start off with? There we go. And now we have this whole thing of different colors from the same brown. Now, you could do two things. You could either smudge it in a very low opacity, like this. And look at that. We have a bit of a realistic approach, or you could blur it. Oh, yeah, not that much. I still see a bit. There we go. See? So you could blur it completely like that. Now, in a I don't draw a lot of animals, but I'll do the same way. Now in a cartoon kind of approach, let's try a paw. Something like this. There we go. Like that. So now let's put some color in it. Maybe the same kind of brown. Thing is, fur shading isn't actually used a ton in cartoon shading, but if you really wanted the fur to actually be seen, like people to know, like this has fur. There we go. That's good enough. Okay. So, the main thing you want to use is line art. You could use squiggles and things to look like fur, kind of like this. Kind of like this. Like some more. I've been drawing cats in a long time, jeez. There we go. Okay, so now that the fur is pretty much seen, fluff please, now it just looks wrinkly. Okay, so now you're going to want to use the black just like any other cartoon part. And just like, if you remember the candle, let's say that the light is coming from above. Now, on parts where, like this, where there's a bit of like a little dip right here, you go like this, like right here, and here. down. Any part you can draw over. There we go, and then there we go. Now you can see the super wrinkly. Yeah, see, cats can be wrinkly. Fur can be wrinkly. There we go. Alright, so that's fur. I'm willing to take a couple more questions on how to shade certain things. It's a ugly. Oh, it's an ugly cat. And so I'm willing to take like a couple more questions on how to shade certain things. How does one shade human hair? Okay. For human hair, I'm gonna do cartoon first. Let's draw like, yeah. Let me draw someone's head first. All right, now let's make it a shape. I'm not good with humans. Okay. That's weird. Anyway, so now let's put on a second layer. His name is Bob. This new person on campus. Okay. Let's make his hair this way. There you go. Okay. So now let's put some just like the fur, we could use some swirls like this, or you could just leave it how it is. I'm going to use just a couple. Like this, right here, here, and here. It looks like he's wearing a raisin for a head, like a brown raisin. And same as the fur. Down that ways. And shade it completely. Look at that. And now, like, the thing is, I think you could just use the same thing for fur as human hair. Wait a minute. There's actually one drawing. Yeah, there's actually one drawing where I used the fur strategy on human hair, and it looked completely perfect. It's pretty much the same. Like, so, just do the fur strategy that I did for realistic, and you should have the same kind of thing. Like, except this time, because human hair is has more strands. Like strands that go out, you could just have a couple, just draw a couple lines sticking out, or a couple like wavy lines sticking out, and that you would get the same kind of thing. Any other questions? Oh wow, we've been doing this for 51 minutes. That's awesome. You don't have to ask questions, but I just want to help you. You're welcome, man. You are all welcome, and thank you, Black Fun, for letting me do this. How do you shade scales? I've never done scales before, so this is gonna be new. Okay. Actually, never mind. Alright. Let's make it very close up. Okay, so scales look like this. Sometimes they're connected, sometimes they're a bit far apart. Okay, so for this one, we're just going to have it like this. And of course the skin underneath. Oops. Like that. And then we shade every single one of these scales. Like this. Yeah, like we're going for a realistic approach right now. It's going to be a lot of tapping, I'm sorry. Tap, 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 tap. There we go. And some white for the light. Just like that. And then for his skin, of course, he would have a bit of shading. Boom, like that. There you go. Scales. Alright, so that's all that I'll be taking because I'm going to see some family soon. But thank you all for watching my stream. It's been 2 years since I did my last one. I think I really nailed this one. So I hope I hope it all helped you in some way, and I hope it made your art better. And so thank you for coming. Have a great day.